On February 4, 2026, a man walked into a restaurant in Huixquilucan, a suburb of Mexico City. He sat down. Someone walked up behind him. His name was Santiago Galón Henao. He died there. Bullet wounds. No suspects. No motive announced. Almost no one in the United States knows that name. But in Colombia, in courtrooms, in funeral processions, and in soccer stadiums, that name has been spoken for 32 years. Because 32 years ago in a parking lot in Medellin, a 27-year-old man was shot 6 times for losing a soccer game. This is the Echo File. Today, the case Colombia never closed, and the death that may finally have closed it. Andrés Escobar Saldarriaga was born in Medellin in March 1967, middle-class family. His father was a banker who founded youth soccer programs. His older brother also played professionally. Andrés played center back, calm, disciplined, a defender who never argued with referees, never picked a fight, never got booked. In a country where soccer was tribal, he was something rare, a player both sides respected. They called him El Caballero del Fútbol, the gentleman of football. By 1989, at age 22, he had won the Copa Libertadores with Atlético Nacional, the most prestigious club trophy in South America. By 1994, he had 51 caps for Colombia. But to understand what happened to him in 1994, you have to understand what Colombia was in 1994. By the summer of 1994, Colombia wasn't just a contender at the U.S.-hosted World Cup. They were favorites. The team had thrashed Argentina 5-0 in the qualifiers in Buenos Aires. To this day, that's one of the most humiliating losses in Argentine soccer history. Pelé picked Colombia to win the entire tournament. Back home, the country was in the middle of the bloodiest decade in its modern history. The Medellin cartel war was barely 2 years over. Pablo Escobar, no relation to Andrés, had been killed by police in December 1993, just 7 months before the World Cup. The country was raw, and the team carried the weight of being the one good story. Group A, Romania, Switzerland, the United States. On paper, Colombia should have walked through. They lost the opener to Romania 3-1. Now they needed to beat the U.S. just to survive. June 22, 1994, Rose Bowl, Pasadena. 93,000 people in the stands, most of them American. 35 minutes in, the U.S. midfielder John Harkes drives down the left and whips in a cross. Andrés Escobar slides to clear it. The ball hits his outstretched left leg and curls, slowly, almost gently, past his own goalkeeper. 1-0, United States. Colombia lost that match 2-1. They beat Switzerland in their final group game, but it didn't matter. They were going home. The dark horse favorites, out in the first round. In the locker room, Andrés Escobar said almost nothing. On the flight back to Bogotá, he sat alone. 5 days later, he published a column in El Tiempo, Colombia's largest newspaper. The closing line of that column read, "Life doesn't end here. It's only a football match." He was wrong. July 2nd, 1994. 10 days after the own goal. Andrés went out with friends to El Indio restaurant in El Poblado, one of Medellin's wealthier neighborhoods. Witnesses say a group of people at another table started taunting him about the goal. He left quietly. Around 3 a.m., he was alone in his car in the parking lot. 3 men approached. 2 of them drew .38 caliber pistols. What happened next was reported by witnesses on the street. The shooter fired 6 times. After each shot, he is reported to have yelled, "Goal! Goal!" Andrés Escobar was taken to a hospital in Medellin. He died 45 minutes later. He was 27 years old. More than 120,000 people came to his funeral. the Colombian government declared a day of national mourning, and almost immediately, the official version of what had happened began to fall apart. Within hours, Medellin police arrested a man named Humberto Castro Muñoz. He confessed. But Castro Muñoz wasn't a random gunman. He was a driver, a bodyguard, and he worked for two brothers named Pedro and Juan Santiago Gallón Henao. The Gallon brothers were known to Colombian intelligence. They were connected to the drug trade. They moved in the same nightclubs as the Cali cartel and the remnants of the Medellin organization. According to some accounts, though never proven in court, they had lost a great deal of money betting on Colombia in the World Cup. When police interviewed them after the murder, the Gallon brothers reported a robbery, that someone had stolen money and equipment from them that same night. Investigators later concluded it was a false report designed to redirect attention away from Castro Muñoz and away from them. Here's the part that, to this day, makes Colombians furious. Castro Muñoz, the shooter, was convicted in 1995, sentenced to 43 years. The sentence was later reduced. He was released in 2005 after serving about 11 years. The Gallon brothers, the men whose driver pulled the trigger, whose cover-up was exposed in court, were sentenced to 15 months for obstruction. They did not serve a single day behind bars. Colombia's coach, Francisco Maturana, said for years that Escobar was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. A nation that watched Castro Muñoz walk free and the Gallon brothers walk free has never accepted that explanation. For 3 decades, the case stayed officially closed. Unofficially, it never closed at all. In 2002, a statue of Andrés Escobar was unveiled in Medellin. A second followed. A sports complex was named after him. His family started the Andrés Escobar Project, helping disadvantaged children play soccer. In 2010, ESPN released The Two Escobars, a documentary connecting Andrés' story to the drug cartel wars his country was emerging from. It became one of the most acclaimed sports documentaries ever made. In 2022, Netflix released a Colombian dramatic series titled Gol Sin Contra, Own Goals. It revived the case for a generation that hadn't lived through it. And then, on February 4th, 2026, Santiago Gallón Henao, the surviving brother, walked into a restaurant in Huixquilucan, Mexico. Mexican authorities found Santiago Gallón Henao dead from gunshot wounds in a restaurant entrance. No suspects were named. No motive was publicly announced. 2 days later, Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, confirmed the death on national television. Colombian investigators have not commented on whether his murder is connected to the events of July 1994. In Medellin, people are asking the question out loud, on radio shows, in soccer bars, in the Colombian press. After 32 years, was someone finally settling the account? We don't know. We may never know. But here is what we do know. Andrés Escobar wrote, 5 days before he was killed, "Life doesn't end here. It's only a football match." He was wrong about himself. He may have been wrong about the men who killed him too. This was the Echo File. Every case leaves an echo. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell me below, do you think Santiago Gallón Henao's death was a settling of accounts or just a coincidence? I'll see you in the next file.